Everybody, what's going on? I'm Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of August 20th through the 27th of 2023. And we have a couple of big players this week making some changes, and I'm going to talk about that. But before I do, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing these videos. If you know somebody who might benefit, please share and introduce them to me. Also, my daughter Tatiana and I have completed another podcast, call it episode. It's more like a rambling. We'll see. Anyways, we try and bring some wisdom as well as some tools and some resources. And in this particular podcast, we're talking about non-attachment, but then we talk about a few other things, especially when it comes to relationships and communication. So if that's something that might interest you or benefit you, check it out. Hopefully you'll get a good laugh around it as well. It should be uploaded in the next couple of days. All right, you guys. So this week, the theme of the week, the sun is going to be leaving the sign of Leo, where it spent the last 28 days and made a nice little cazimi, as we call it, or conjunction, canoodling with Venus, still retrograde in the sign of Leo. And now the sun on Tuesday, is going to enter the sign of Virgo, where Mercury is in right now, but on Wednesday will station retrograde. And so I'm just going to say this. You've heard me say it many times. Don't panic. And actually, this Mercury retrograde, I feel, is going to be better, or a little less destabilizing, and I'll explain why, than some previous ones. And after the sun moves into Virgo and Mercury stations retrograde on Sunday, I'm going to talk about that because Mars is going to enter Libra, where it will stay for a few weeks. So we want to just look at these little pins on the map, tap into the energies of them. So keep in mind that the planets don't make us do anything. They just remind us of what we may be feeling inside or experiencing in our internal world can be reflected externally and vice versa. One of the things that I want to bring out as we talk about the as above, so below, that the planets don't make us do anything, but we feel things, all of that, is that we have to remember that oppositions, that things in this dualistic world that we live in this thing called Earth and human experience, they co-occur and they coexist, and they need each other in order to exist. Okay, so when we're demonizing something negative like the shadow side or fear or worry or anxiety or anger, whatever those shadow negative feelings are, then we're actually pushing them away and orphaning that part of ourselves which we need in order to have the lighter side. And Tatiana and I talk about that a little bit in our podcast about how we need both, and that in order for light to exist, we need the shadow. And so in order for us to look at things and appreciate the happy moments, we have to have the painful moments. Now, remember too, that pain is part of life. Suffering's our choice. And I talk about that a little bit individually as well as collectively, that suffering is where we allow ourselves to go back into the past and regurgitate the pain, or we sit with the pain and we think that this is all there ever is. We go into this catastrophic, fatalistic idea that this is how it's always going to be, when really we trust the process and we know that if we move through it, there is no real time frame as far as when that pain ends. But what we do know is that on the other side of pain is pleasure, and then we appreciate the pleasure. And when that pleasure's there, we allow ourselves to enjoy and go through that process, because pain will be on the other side. You know, there's a beautiful quote that says, death is what gives life meaning. Life and death live on the same axes, just like our nodes. I talk about the north nodes, right? This is how we equate our astrology with the human experience, is that with the nodes, we have the north node, which we're working towards. It's the thing that we're here to develop, and we're here to have as our purpose in life. It challenges us because it's not comfortable, like our South Node, which we bring into this lifetime, our conditioned tendencies. Some people call it karma. And so we're learning how to ride this dragon, if you will, of opposites, so that we can now live in wholeness. Our psyche requires wholeness. That's what this is all about. This isn't about being all love and light or all doom and gloom. It's about having both and embracing both. So I bring that in because the themes for this week, Sun moving into Virgo. Virgo is all about how may I serve? What is useful? Let's utilize this. Let's create something that actually has benefit to the tangible everyday things. Virgo also is about ritual. It likes to have routine and ritual because it makes those lists and it says, let me check this off because it serves the greater good. So with the sun, which is our energizer, our motivator, our sense of purpose or our creativity and our ego, it says, how can I energize this idea of perfectionism, even though there really is no such thing as perfect, but I'm working towards improvement. I'd like to say perfectionism is more about self-improvement so that we can become the best versions of ourselves. And with the sun in Virgo, that's what we're working towards. How can I become a better version of myself? I have this desire to create useful things that make me show up in the world in a much better way so that I can be of benefit, so that I can be of service to myself, to others, to the world. That's where we're going. And Virgo is opposite the sign of Pisces, which is the humanitarian servant, the spiritual unifier, if you will. It's the culmination of all the energies into this unification. So here we have the individualized Virgo that says, I want to be a benefit right here, right now. If I can touch one life, that's all that matters. And then Pisces saying, if I can touch many because of the life I lived, then I know I've been of great benefit. So we have the opportunity to really look at how we can be useful in our everyday lives, even with it just that one person, our partner, our children, our best friend, our stranger on the street, whatever it might be. Now, Mercury retrograde. It's not doom and gloom. I can tell you that. It's a revisiting, all the RE words, rewinding, a time to go more internal with our thoughts, with our energy, with the way we communicate. Sure, there's going to be snafus around transportation, around travel, around how we organize information, how we interpret it, things like that. There may be delays, but you know what? That happens all the time. How we meet it is going to be important. So Mercury retrograde in Virgo until September 15th. So it starts on the 23rd. We have till the 15th. And we're going to be looking all about precision, usefulness again, acts of service. We'll start off also with Mercury making this trine aspect to Jupiter and Uranus, but opposing Neptune and Pisces. Why that is stabilizing, why I feel this Mercury retrograde is a little more beneficial than most. One, because Mercury rules Virgo. It rules Virgo, Gemini, but it's in its home sign. It's at home, stretching its legs, going, maybe I feel a little more homebody-ish than I normally do, but because I'm retrograde, but I'm so comfortable in this sign of Virgo. And I'm making a trine, which is an easy aspect to Jupiter, which just expands my sense of safety, my sense of hope, my sense of good fortune. And Uranus here also in the sign of Taurus is going to create these ahas that come in. Mercury, remember, rules the mind. Now Mercury's making a opposition to Neptune and Pisces, intuition, spiritual awareness, being able to connect with the unseen, receiving information on a large scale suddenly that we've been asking for questions or we've been asking for answers to questions that now drop in. What are we going to do with it? Right? Trusting our intuition. We want to set realistic expectations and clear standards, of course. At the same time, notice how great your intuition is. Act on it responsibly. Let the information flow. It's really where we start trusting more of that higher wisdom within ourselves. So I can see with this Mercury retrograde time that we do this bungee cord. Think of oppositions like this. You're standing in the middle of your home. Your front doorbell rings, your back doorbell rings. Can't be in two places at once. Which one are you going to answer first? So you're going to go back and forth. So it might be, hey, let me answer the back door, Neptune and Pisces, let's say, and take myself to a meditation or to a spiritual place, a place of quiet introspection, of listening deeply, opening to universal wisdom. And now let me go back to my thinking logical mind of Mercury here. What is it interpreting as the information that has flown in from the intuition? And then how do I integrate it? Because remember, it's about wholeness. We're standing in the center of this house, if you will. And so we bring these together. We set in these realistic expectations. We take action. We have conversations that are based off of intuition, as well as checking in with what is true and factual for us and what we most need to be of great use. This Mercury retrograde can also shed light on areas where maybe we've spent too much time on the useless things. Maybe we've cluttered our lives with things that just don't make sense anymore, or they've been a major distraction. This is a great time in the next couple of weeks to remove those distractions, get really focused on the things that matter, and take actions from there. Now, Sunday, as I mentioned, Mars is going to move into the sign of Libra. Mars is considered in its fall sign here, meaning it's weaker. It shows up, think of this, Mars, remember, is our drive, our passion. It's what our desire is. It's the way in which we take action and insert ourselves in the world. It can be aggressive, but it can also be assertive. In Libra, though, Libra wants peace, it wants balance, it wants harmony. It's the peacemaker. So when you put these two energies together, then passiveness often shows up with the desire for peace. So it's a great time for negotiations. It's a great time for coming back to the table and saying, let's have some courageous conversation here. Let's talk about some conflicts and let's talk about some things that just didn't seem to line up. See how we can come up with solutions that make sense. Harmony. We talk about balance, we talk about harmony. Balance to me is the opposition, right? So we'll seesaw, teeter-totter between the two. Where harmony comes in, and this is Mars and Libra, we're going to be driven for more harmony in our lives. So we may look at all the different areas, whether it's financial, relationship, especially because Libra is ruled by Venus and is all about relationships and harmony in relationships. We may be revisiting with Mercury retrograde some relationship issues, Mars and Libra, and find ways to have more harmony, meaning wholeness, that maybe our relationship isn't taking the front seat anymore because it seems to have smoothed out because we had a courageous conversation. And now we're going to focus on finances. It might be, hey, if my finances are out of balance, it could have created stress in my relationship. Let's bring those together so that now we're all on the same page. So I can see that there's going to be a lot of conversations and communication in relationships of saying, how do we both feel like this relationship can become more secure? It can be more courageous. It can be more powerful, connected. Those are some of the things that we're going to be looking at. And we're going to be fighting for what's right, what's fair with Mars in Libra. So those are some pins on the map for you. I hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Come find me at jamiedawn.com, and I look forward to connecting with you. Have such a great week, everyone.